F. He doesn't want to be identified, but says he received his stimulus check on April 15th and a lot more.
I was very shocked, and now I'm in a quandary. What do I do with this?
An extra $2,400 for his parents was deposited into their bank account, and both have died in the last 2 years.
I was trying to get my parents' estate wrapped up. Now that I've got their taxes and things done, I'm not sure what to do.
And on top of that, his partner, who was working on his mother's estate because she died earlier this year, also found an extra $1,200 in her account. The grand total, $3,600 in stimulus money, went to family members who died.
Well, I feel bad about that because, some people are definitely needed a lot more than I do, people who've lost their jobs and things.
So how exactly do you return the cash? Well, the IRS says if you receive the check in the mail, just write void on the back of the check and send it back. If you got a direct deposit or cashed a check already, the payment can be made via check or money order. Another side note is, if someone who's in prison gets a check, that money should also be returned to the IRS. And if married, you only need to return their share of the funds. Here's the process. Send a check or money order payable to the U.S. Treasury. Write 2020 EIP and the Social Security or personal identification number of the receiver on the payment. And finally, be sure to include a note explaining why you're sending that money back. We have links to where you can send the return payments on our website, kgun9.com. Chandrea Thomas, KGUN9 on your side.
Let's turn our attention now to Kyler Diggs' weather forecast. A really nice day today, and you've got a little bit more of that to come, it sounds like.
Yeah, we sure do. Actually, pretty seasonable May weather is settling in across southern Arizona. We did see some gusty wind out there today. Some of the wind gusts up around 30 miles an hour. But other than that, a lot of blue sky. And underneath that blue sky, we saw some pretty nice high temperatures. As we take a look at those highs across southern Arizona, we did go to 91 degrees in Tucson, 82 in Sierra Vista, 86 degrees in Nogales, and it was 91 degrees in Phoenix right now. It is really nice outside. I was just out there. Clear skies, 76 degrees, 73 degrees in Safford, 65 degrees in Nogales. We got a lot of clear sky. It looks like more of that is on the way for a few hours tonight, and then some clouds bring a change to our forecast.
All right, Kyler, thank you. And a salute to Tucson's healthcare workers in the form of a flyover, the special meaning for the pilots on the eve of this flight, and where you can see the formation fly over the Tucson area. You're watching KGUN9 on your side. Tomorrow afternoon, Davis Monthan and the Arizona Air National Guard will say thank you to the frontline workers of this pandemic with a Tucson area flyover. As I found out, it has extra special meaning for 3 of the 4 pilots taking part.
Major Cody Wilton, call sign Shiv, is used to performing for crowds in his A-10 Thunderbolt II. He's the commander of the A-10 demonstration team that normally would be performing at air shows across the country this time of year. Instead, he'll team up with the 162nd Wing of the Arizona Air National Guard for a flyover to thank frontline workers in Tucson.
They don't get that thanks that often, so to go out there and do something for them to show our support and how much we appreciate what they do is awesome.
This is our thank you to our heroes that have been fighting this virus. You've been an outstanding point of support and encouragement to us as a wing. Thank you for everything that you've been doing, and we hope you enjoy our tribute to you tomorrow.
During the flyover, Major Wilton will pilot one of the 2 A-10s. He and his wingman have an emotional connection to the frontline workers they're going to thank.
The flight lead is going to be one of my safety observers. His wife is currently a nurse here in Tucson. My wife just moved, but she was a nurse and a nurse anesthetist here in Tucson for 4 years. And then one of the Viper pilot's wives is also in healthcare.
Viper is the nickname of the F-16. A pair of Vipers will fly with 2 A-10 Warthogs to form a diamond. The flyover begins Thursday afternoon just after 2 in Green Valley. The formation heads north to Marana and then around the Catalinas.
The best way to work the formation was to go around the mountain and then come back in to go across the center of Tucson. So yeah, definitely a little challenging.
And this flyover has been in the planning stages for weeks. They had to get permission from the Air Force and the FAA before finalizing the flight plan for the mission. The University of Arizona is one of the few colleges that already plans to resume in-person classes this fall. How their plan to keep students and faculty safe could be the blueprint for the rest of the country. You're watching KGUN9 on your side. States are now deciding when and how they'll reopen their economies. That includes decisions on when to reopen public universities. Here in Arizona, students are going back to campus in the fall, but that's not the case in other states or university systems. Here's ABC's Tom Yamas.
Fearing a second wave, Harvard Medical School saying it will provide remote learning for students entering this fall. Just a day after Cal State University, the nation's largest four-year public university system, canceled all in-person classes for the fall. But at the University of Arizona, in-class learning will start on schedule this fall. The school taking testing into its own hands to protect its students. ABC News getting a first look at how they plan to do it. At the heart of the project, the research labs, where they've created and now process their own diagnostic and antibody tests.
If there's an outbreak on campus, you're going to learn about that right here.
We will. The school's president, a cardiothoracic surgeon, telling me he's confident they can test, track, and help treat their 60,000 plus faculty, staff, and students, even reserving a dorm building to be an infirmary if needed.
You know, this could be the blueprint on how to reopen, or it could be a blueprint for a disaster.
Absolutely right.
Have you thought about that?
Oh, absolutely. Every day. Every day. We've got 104 days before we're scheduled to welcome people back to campus. It'll look very, very different.
And still, with so many unknowns, some images of hope. Isaiah Wallman, the last COVID patient to leave this Tennessee hospital after fighting the virus for more than 50 days. Back here on the campus of the University of Arizona, the president tells me he has a plan. They have about 100 days to figure out the details. He says students will be wearing masks here. They will have to social distance, but he says the hard part, the testing, they do have down. He is worried, though, what happens off campus. They acknowledge they can't control what students do once they leave the campus. Reporting from Tucson, Tom Yamas, ABC News.
Meantime, the University of Arizona also awarded more than $1 million in COVID-19 relief money today. It's going to go to help rural hospitals in Arizona through the crisis. 16 hospitals in Arizona are eligible for part of this money. Internet access has been vital during these times. As 9 on Your Side's Rogelio Maras reports, those who've gone without a connection will be able to reconnect as libraries open up here in Pima County.
A wealth of knowledge and information will soon be available to you again, starting next Monday.
We're having the same hours for all libraries right now, so it will just be 10 to 5 Monday through Friday.
Libraries in Pima County will be open to the public after closing back in late March.
People can come in and pick up books that they've had on reserve.
It's a chance for anyone who has gone without that vital service, internet access, to reconnect.
They can use computers for 30 minutes once a day. And we're expecting these visits to be very short. This is not our regular come back to the library yet.
The director of libraries in the county, Amber Matthewson, says some locations are going to be serving up literature quite like a meal.
In some locations, we'll have curbside service only. At other libraries, they'll be able to walk up to the door and get books picked up, similar to what they might have been doing at some restaurants. And in a few libraries, they'll be able to actually walk into the counter to get their books.
With books in circulation, in and out of hands across the county, Matthewson told KGUN 9 the libraries plan to sanitize the quarantine of those very books.
Books that have been returned or will be returned will be held for 3 days.
She says if you have rubbing alcohol at home, you can help by gently wiping down book surfaces. Rogelio Maras, wishing you happy reading for KGUN 9 on your side.